Hi there again, this is English and I'm Milan. So, how to write a discursive essay? Well, actually today we'll be covering a type of essay, discursive essay. Well, discursive essay topics usually we have: is technology good or bad? Should cell phones be allowed in school? Is texting and texting apps such as WhatsApp killing the language? Technological advancements are making us lazier. Well, what is a discursive essay? It's a type of formal writing that discusses a certain topic. The topic can be anything from an issue, situation, or problem. For example, persuasive essays or argumentative essays. You can face discursive essays in three types. You can face or you can write this essay, which is discursive essay, in three types, and they are: paper with for and against arguments, essays to demonstrate your opinion about the exact topic, text with real problem solutions. Understanding the question. Essay topics usually have three components in them. First, the instruction words telling you what to do. The keywords indicating the topic. And the words restricting the topic indicating what aspect of the topic you are asked to focus on. The instructions. Okay, the instructions are basically as you see here on the screen. For example, describe the role of the internet in modern society. The environment is the most important issue in the world today. Please discuss. Describe and discuss. These two words indicate the two most common types of essay that one can write. If you're asked to describe something, then your essay will mostly present facts and not opinions. However, if you are asked to discuss something, then your opinion is being asked for, and you are usually expected to evaluate something or to argue for or against something. In key terms, this is usually the easiest part of the essay to deal with. Normally, the keywords deal with the familiar topics such as education, the environment, IT, in other words, information technology, the media, advertising and consumer issues, social problems, lifestyle, and etc. The chosen topics will be about the concept and issues that expected every educated person to know something about. That expect every educated The chosen topics will be about concepts and issues that expect every educated person to know something about. Finding the focus. It's very important to look at the actual question word very closely. Consider the following questions. Many people believe that the internet is the most revolutionary new invention of the last century. Do you agree? Next, the internet has revolutionized the modern world, but many people argue that it has also created new problems and inequalities. What's your opinion? In each of the above, the topic is the internet and the revolutionary role in the world. So you must have a basic idea about what the internet involves and think about what revolutionize means. In order to make fundamental change, however, each topic raises different questions and must be answered differently. The first topic involves comparing the internet and other inventions and arguing that it is or not the most revolutionary. On the other hand, the second topic expects to consider both its benefits and the problems it has created. The internet has revolutionized the modern world, but it has also created new problems. Do you agree? In order to organize your ideas for a topic, it's first of all necessary to pin them down and brainstorm your ideas first. This simply means Okay. Finding focus, it's very important to look at the actual question words very closely. Please consider the following questions. Many people believe that the internet is the most revolutionary new invention of the last century. Do you agree? The internet has revolutionized the modern world, but many people argue that it has also created new problems and inequalities. What is your opinion? In each of the above, the topic is the internet and its revolutionary role in the world. So you must have a basic idea about what the internet involves and think about what revolutionize means. In order to make fundamental changes, however, each topic raises different questions and must be answered differently. First topic involves comparing the internet and other inventions and arguing that it is or not the most revolutionary. To pin them down and brainstorm your ideas first. This simply means jotting down any concept that come into your head, associated with the given topic in note form or in a random order. Let us look at a simple example that question may be. The internet has revolutionized the modern world, but it has also created new problems. Do you agree? And now, we need to find ideas for both parts of the question, the revolutionizing effect of the internet and also its problems. We might come up with the following. Banking, online shopping, email, chat rooms, distance education, hacking, information for research, airline bookings, content theater booking, business communication, sharing information for police and tourists, and virus as well. Poor people have no access. A basic strategy is employed when planning a discursive essay could include an interesting introduction, a clear indication of your position in relation to the topic. Your first argument with support evidence, your second argument with the supporting evidence, your third argument and supporting evidence, and the conclusion in which you reiterate your position. Let's look at the example of one discursive essay writing according to a given structure, and the title is, "There's no need to write letters anymore. Telephoning is a better way of communicating with people." So, in the structure as you see, we have introduction to introduce the topic and state clearly that you will be presenting more than one point of view. Let's see. It's certainly quicker to telephone than to write a letter, but it may not always be the best way to communicate. The use depends, like so many other things in life, on the circumstance. Points 4. One paragraph given reasons in favor. These reasons should be supported by evidence and examples. This will develop the antithesis. So let's see now. Telephoning is the ideal if you want immediate action. You wouldn't want to write to the plumber if you had water pouring through your ceiling, for example. It's also the obvious choice if you need a quick answer to the question like, what time is the next train to Oxford? Did I leave my wallet in a shop? Many problems can be solved more easily and decisions taken more quickly if you can discuss them with someone on the phone rather than wait for a reply to a letter. Finally, few people would disagree that telephoning is a pleasant way to keep in touch with friends and family. Number 3. Points against. One paragraph given reason against. These reasons should be supported by evidence and examples. This will develop the thesis. Let's have a look at it. On the other hand, there can be a number of disadvantages to telephoning. In the first place, some problems are too complicated to explain on the phone, especially if they involve facts and figures, and it may be clearer if you set them out in the letter. Secondly, it might be important to have a record of what you say, especially if it's booking or complaint. Last but not least, telephoning, especially long distance, can be terribly expensive. Further support and follow the logical arguments. The nice thing about receiving letters is that you can keep them and reread them. Who wouldn't rather have a 6-page letter full of news from a friend abroad than a 2-minute telephone call on a bed line? Conclusion is a brief paragraph stating your point of view, basically thesis, based on the reasons and evidence you have given. Let's take a look at this part. To sum up, letter writing is far from dead. Letter writing is far from dead, in my view. Each form of communicating has its advantages and disadvantages. The important thing to recognize which is more appropriate for what you want to say and to whom. Typical discussion topics include statements which you are asked to agree or disagree. For example, there's too much violence on television, and invitations to discuss aspects of subject. Approach. Generally, the important thing is to consider the various aspects of the topic before giving a balanced opinion. Occasionally, you may be asked directly for a personal opinion. Example, what's the best way to bring up children? But even here, you would need to consider some different views so that you can contrast them with your own opinion. Structure. The structure of a discursive composition should be clear and logical. In the first paragraph, introduce the topic and your argument. In the next, deal with one aspect for the topic. Give supporting evidence in the following paragraphs. After that, consider the opposite point of view. In the final paragraph, sum up your argument to give a balanced personal opinion. While it's not advisable to memorize the entire sentence, it's good to have stock of phrase that you can use to join ideas and make your writing flow more naturally. Here's some examples. Introduction. This essay will outline. This essay seeks to. In this essay, the arguments surrounding will be discussed. When giving examples, you can use these ones, as can be seen from. Recent studies have shown that one solution proposed by. A good example for this is evidence suggests that. And when sharing your opinion, it seems to me, in my opinion, in my view, I would argue that when you give alternative perspective. However, there are some drawbacks to this, such as another approach is, however, it's important to consider. Having said that, in spite of this, in the concluding part, all things considered, altogether, obviously, overall, ultimately, ordinarily, definitely, and usually, to summarize, to sum up in summary, finally, in a word, briefly.
How to write a 5-paragraph essay. A 5-paragraph essay, true to its name, is made up of 5 major parts: an introduction, a first body paragraph, a second body paragraph, a third body paragraph, and a conclusion. But before beginning any writing, it is important to brainstorm. In a brainstorm, you want to come up with the topic for your essay and plan out your main arguments. If you're trying to come up with a topic, you want to make sure you're writing about something you're passionate and knowledgeable about. So let's say we're writing about why social media is a positive effect on our lives. If that's our topic, now we need our 3 main ideas, each of which will be 1 body paragraph in the essay. Remember, a paragraph is about 1 main idea. So let's say these are the 3 arguments for our pro-social media essay. It helps us connect with people, it helps us stay informed, and it allows us to be creative with content. Now we have a framework for our essay. The first part of your essay will be your introduction. The introduction serves the purpose to introduce the reader to your topic and lay the foundation for your arguments. First, in the introduction, you have your hook. A hook is an exciting and interesting first sentence to capture the reader's attention, so they'll want to read your essay. Second, you have the background information, 2 to 3 sentences giving some basic information on your topic that will help the reader understand your point. Finally, the thesis is one strong sentence that states your main point and previews your arguments. Now let's go back to our social media essay for a second. For this essay, as a hook you could open with an intriguing fact, such as, according to a recent study, nearly 1 in 4 people in the world use at least one form of social media. Basically, you want to draw your reader into reading the rest of your essay. On background information for this essay, you might want to mention how social media has grown in the past few years, the different kinds of social media, and the ongoing debate about whether or not it's a positive influence in our lives. And for the thesis, you'd want to mention the main ideas of the essay and state your position on the issue. One possible thesis is, the use of social media impacts our lives positively every day by allowing us to connect with other people, stay informed about the world, and be creative with online content. And those are the 3 parts of our introduction: the hook, the background information, and the thesis. Let's move on to the body paragraphs. Each body paragraph will explain one of these main ideas that we laid out in the framework. The paragraphs should each be 5 to 8 sentences. First, you have your topic sentence, a sentence that introduces the main idea of the paragraph. Second, most of your paragraph will be the argument itself in 4 to 6 sentences that state and explain the main point, which should be clearly written and in logical order. Finally, a conclusion sentence is a sentence restating your argument and wrapping up the paragraph. Let's put this in terms of our social media essay. Say we're writing our first body paragraph on how social media keeps people connected. The topic sentence could be something like, at its core, any social media platform serves the basic purpose to connect people with one another, which it does in many different ways. For our main argument, here are some points that could be made. With social media, people can look each other up and reconnect with the people in their lives. Friends and family living countries apart can stay connected, and it can be used in times of crisis to check in with family and see if they are safe. Finally, for a conclusion sentence, we could wrap up the paragraph by saying something along the lines of, with a tool like social media, people across the globe can stay in regular contact with family and friends and find new friends. And those are the 3 parts of our body paragraphs: the topic sentence, the main idea, and the conclusion. Lastly, let's look at how to wrap up our essay with a conclusion. Transition to the conclusion of your sentence by writing a sentence that restates the issue or topic that you're writing about and your opinion. Move on to summarize your arguments in 2 to 3 sentences that restate your 3 main arguments. Finally, restate your thesis. Here you wrap up your essay with a strong sentence that is your thesis reworded. With our social media essay, a possible transition sentence is, with the rise of social media, people have been able to connect with the world in a way that wouldn't have been possible a decade ago. However, its rapid growth has brought forward a debate on whether or not being involved in social media is healthy in our everyday lives. In summarizing the arguments, we'd have to mention how social media allows people to stay connected, always be informed about world events, and work creatively online. And in restating the thesis, we'd have to take our original thesis and re-emphasize it to end the essay. A possible restated thesis is, our lives have and are being changed for the better through the power of social media and its ability to connect people, inform them, and allow them to innovate. And those are the 3 parts of our conclusion: the transition sentence, summarizing the arguments, and restating the thesis. And now we have all 5 parts: the introduction, the first body paragraph, the second body paragraph, the third body paragraph, and our conclusion. That completes our 5-paragraph essay. Thanks for watching.
Well, let's call it a day. I'll catch you next time.